What's up, everybody? Super excited about the person I invited today. I am so happy and grateful because I've been inviting some very influential women, and now I have a young entrepreneur, artist, and also Posse Scholar. Back when I applied to the Posse Scholarship, Fellowship, whatever you want to call it, I felt like I was going into another world. And so just knowing that I have someone across the screen, I guess, sitting and now sharing her experience and all the things that we're going to talk about, it makes me feel blissful. So thank you guys for everyone that's been following this podcast. Make sure you like it, comment, and subscribe, okay? And ask questions about the people that I bring on so that they can learn more about the things that you have interests on, and myself. So we can get started with Juasline Plascencia. I'm so happy, grateful. Thank you for being here. And the way I got to meet you, real quick before we jump into the questions and all that, I got to meet you because of the Nyah Project. So for
Mhm.
all the high schoolers, the college students, the adults listening, business owners that want to have a positive impact on kids like myself and you right here. That's how I call her because you're a friend. You guys can participate in some way or another in the Nyah Project, Nyah Fellowship, and just give back to the community. So I got to meet her there. We went to Accra, Ghana, in Africa. When we went, I didn't know where the heck I was going to, but I went with 12 more people, extraordinary kids doing unbelievable things, and this is where we are at now. Me doing a podcast. She has her own podcast, so make sure you guys follow her too. And that's the backstory of how we met. Now I'll give you the mic, Joycelyn. You can introduce a little bit about your story, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me. For those of you guys that don't know me and those who are very good friends, like he said, we met on the Nyah Project, and it was a very fun trip. We had an amazing time, so we've been friends ever since. So I'm very happy to be here today. But yeah, so I mean, a little bit about what I currently do. I am currently a sophomore in college at Hamilton College. I was a Posse scholar, so I won the Posse Scholarship, and that's why I'm now at Hamilton. So at Hamilton, I plan on majoring in art with a possible minors in education. And yeah, and then aside from that, I am a entrepreneur, a freelancer, an independent artist, and as you guys can see, I have a lot of my artwork behind me right now. So yeah, I'm a student, I'm an artist, and I'm somebody, who's just trying to change the world and make it a better place.
I love it. I know that when I met you, you were very interested in a lot of things about uh, celestial bodies, Zen, meditation, and all that good stuff. So I think we can take the conversation that way to maybe share with classmates and people how to keep it together, in times of stress and other things that you might be applying in your life right now. So to get started, if you want, you can talk about your story, where you're from, maybe the things that shaped you, and why do you think, Leanne selected you one day to travel to Africa?
Right. Okay, so I am Puerto Rican and Dominican. I was raised in Garfield, New Jersey, so I grew up there my whole life. I grew up with six brothers and sisters. I have 12, but I only lived with six of them. So very, very big family. And my mother was actually a single mother. She raised me and my six other siblings by herself completely, working multiple minimum wage jobs to just, support us and get us through school. So I grew up, I'm the youngest of those six. So I grew up with older brothers and sisters. A lot of them were very adventurous, very fun. They did all kinds of stuff and exposed me to a lot. I am the person that I am today because of them. And each of them are so unique and so different in their own way. And I definitely have to attribute who I am today to my mother because she gave me the space and the freedom to be who I was and never judge me. Like all my brothers and sisters, I have half siblings, but I consider them my full siblings. And, we have different fathers, different parents sometimes, and we all look different. So my mother made sure to like never let that get in the way of our relationship. She didn't care what we looked like. She didn't care who we were, our sexual orientation, whatever we wanted to be in this world. She was always like, be kind to yourself and be kind to others. And I've always stuck with that. So I just, I try to accept everybody for who they are. And, the same way I would want to be accepted. And I just, try and be a good person and share that with the world.
That's wonderful. I mean, if more parents supported their children
Yeah,
from an early age, the world will be a little bit different, a little bit better, I will say, in my opinion.
I
But
agree.
you know, this is the life that we have, and it is now our own control that when we reach this age, that we have the ability to create these changes and just spread these ideas the way we're doing it right now. So that's wonderful. That's how that. I mean, I'm sure that you've had these ideas for a long time. You took it to Leanne. She loved it. She just polished it, and now this is what you're flourishing into. What do
Exactly.
you think Leanne saw in you more specifically?
Oh, wow. I would like to ask her because I still don't know to this day. Miss Leanne is a very powerful woman and very strong and very intelligent. And I respect her so much that um, I wonder, what she saw in me. But if I could take a guess, I think she saw the ability to make the best even out of a really uncomfortable or not that good of a situation. um, the ability to always see the light at the end of the tunnel. And even if you don't see a light, my ability to make that for myself and to want to focus on the good things and not the bad things in life, and just really make a change and influence people. And I think she maybe didn't necessarily see this, but I feel that my personality is very strong, and I'm a very good communicator.
Yeah,
So you may have felt and heard my voice and know or knew that I am trustworthy, and I am somebody who is listened to and can be taken seriously, and somebody whose voice can actually be heard in the future and in other communities in order to make effective change. So
wonderful. Love
who
it.
knows what I'll ask her
Yeah,
today.
we gotta ask her. We gotta go back. What is she looking for? And the reality is, I've had this
Yes.
question so many times from friends and other classmates that I invited to apply, and I tell them, hey, just be yourself. Be be so good that they cannot ignore you. And the reality is that you and
Exactly.
I personally don't think I was good enough back then, but I've looking back at myself, I think, well, I went up and introduced myself and said, "Hi, I love what you're doing, even if I'm not accepted," and that goes a long way. So we can take it now with leadership. I like talking about leadership just because it's such a fundamental attribute in any position in your life, and most people lack it because they simply don't know it, don't have access to it. So I think it's our responsibility to share with other people. What did you learn about leadership while in the Nyah project, and before and after?
I think that the Nyah Project taught me that leadership looks differently wherever you're trying to be a leader. So the way you want to carry out your leadership, it definitely depends on the kind of job that you're going to do, where you're going to do, the people who you're working with. So a lot of times, like people wouldn't really appreciate a very aggressive and angry person in a school, or like a high school, but they would probably really appreciate that in a very vigorous and competitive setting. So I think that leadership is about understanding who you are individually, and understanding what you're good at, what you're not good at. And like the Neo Project, we did a lot of exercises, understanding our strengths and our weaknesses, so that way we can be better leaders. And something that Miss Leanne always taught us was to be a leader doesn't always mean to be the first person in the front leading. Sometimes it means you need to take a step back and let others lead. So it's all about understanding who you are, understanding how you want to lead, how you want people to interact with you. So I guess the main aspect that I feel is super fundamental in leadership is being flexible, and yeah, flexible and being able to do a
Adaptable.
lot of different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Adapt. That's the
Yeah,
word I was looking for. So
wonderful.
definitely
uh,
adaptable and just
Yeah, there's a great book for the listeners that want to get into more self-discovery. This book is
Mhm.
called Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker, one of the best CEOs and many things authors in the history of humanity, in my opinion. So go check it out. Go through that book, and you're gonna learn all the principles that we learned in the Nyah Project and that we're applying now. Um, what was it like after the Nyah Project? After that trip, I know you went to Posse. You got accepted. What was life like?
Ooh, it was definitely it was incredible. I think after the Neo project, my life completely changed. I was the only person at my high school that made it to the Neo project. And then because of the Neo project, Miss Leanne made me aware of Posse, right? So
Hmm.
when I was in high school, after coming back from Africa, I'm a senior and people, recruiters are all over the place, you know. And people, a lot of schools in Miami really wanted to have me, like FIU, everybody was on me, right? Sending me letters. Everyone had so many letters. And I just remember one day Posse came to school and they did a show, or not a show, but like a presentation. And they were like, this is what we are. I didn't like it because I was like, you gonna tell me where I have to go to college? I don't think so. Like I'm gonna choose where I want to go to college. But then after learning more about the program and learning more about what it was, Ms. Leanne actually texted me and she was like, you need to apply to this. Like, you need to make sure you're applying to this. And throughout the entire process, she was on top of me, making sure I did everything. And yeah, she was just an amazing person. And she actually helped me get it. I feel like she helped me get into Posse because without her guidance, like, I don't think I would have made it at all. Um, and yeah, so both of them kind of ended up coming together in a very interesting way. And because of the Nia project, I was able to get Posse. And because of Posse, I was able to do so much more. Um, but yeah, definitely. After coming back from Africa, it was a completely different road from then on.
Yeah, big shout out to Leanne and Nia fellows. Now they have the access program to help high school students go through a smoother process of application. I know I was struggling. I cried. I didn't know what to do with my life. But if I had had something like the access program, I think it would have been better, or I would be far down the road. But everything happens for a reason. So guys, if you're listening to this, apply to the access program, participate, seek out the resources. Now we can talk about failures. I like talking about failures because it sheds light onto the difficulties of entrepreneurship life as a whole. So what were some of the struggles you've been going through maybe since Nia project, if we can talk from that timeline?
Okay, definitely. So mm, it's very, very difficult. Like, I don't think people understand the amount of desire you have to want to succeed, because it's, if you don't have that, if you're not hungry for that success, you will fail, because you're going to go out there looking for the success and you're not going to find it. And if you let that, determine the outcome, then that's what you're going to get. It's just failure. But if you look at failure as like a stepping stone, then it's just a stepping stone, to reach your destination.
Yeah.
But personally, man, oh my gosh, it was very difficult for me. I've always been independent, but in high school, I didn't live with my parents for a very long time. I was working a part-time job while being student government president, while trying to do all these programs, while working on paintings, selling art, like really doing the most. And something that I really emphasize throughout my story is that I'm a low income minority Latina. Like, I'm a woman, I'm a brown woman, and I'm poor, basically. Like, so my
Bro,
family has grown up
no
on,
poverty here.
well, yeah, low income.
Gotcha.
But my family definitely grew up needing government assistance. My mother uses SNAP, Section 8, and we've always needed help because as a single mother, it was very hard for her to get the material wealth that she needed for us to be more secure in the future. You know, like when you're working three jobs trying to raise six kids, you can't worry about buying a house. You can't worry about taking the programs after school or doing all the extracurricular things that enhance a student's career. So that is where my leadership came in. You know, like I saw how hard my mom was working, and I said to myself, like, okay, well, she's doing the best that she can to get me to school. Now I need to do the most that I can at school to go wherever else that I want to go. You know, so aside from working, um you know, my family is it's very difficult to deal with. You know,
It's
a
fine.
lot of
It's
mental health
fine,
issues, a
family.
lot of, yeah, exactly. We all love our families, but they get very difficult at times, and that oftentimes gets in the way of like schoolwork, of working. You know, it's the mental toll that being in this community puts on individuals is severe. You know, and it's real. It People don't really understand what it's like being a low income brown student until they're put in that position. You know, it's like we want to do good, we want to succeed, but it's harder when you have these invisible obstacles in society. You know, so it's
Yeah.
very difficult. But as long as you have that drive, you know, it's possible.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, this is why I'm doing this, getting out of my own shell. Thank you for jumping on this and just creating resources for more people,
Hmm.
showing that it's doable. You can accomplish it, and no matter what difficulties, obstacles you have in the way, now you have YouTube University. Now you have the phone for $30 a month or whatever, however much you pay. So, in my opinion, I always bring this up. Don't make any more excuses. And I'm a victim of myself too. So, everyone that's listening and you have an advantage, go outwork the other person next to you. Outwork me, whoever else you want. Just do it.
Exactly.
So, that's great. I love it. Now we can jump onto the artistic side of Juaslyn. What do you want to
Yes.
talk about? What do you want to share about your art journey? I know you have in your YouTube channel, you've shared it before, but share with the audience here.
Yeah, definitely. So I've been an artist my entire life. I've drawn, I've painted since I was a little girl. And I always drew myself.
Hmm.
I think that my journey with art has been amazing. It has been very beautiful. And it's been a very healing journey.
Hmm.
You know, growing up, you don't see people who look like me on TV or in movies and stuff like that. So I really struggled with body image issues and the way, you know, the way I perceived myself. So through art, I was able to learn to appreciate the human form, learn to appreciate myself as a human being, my capabilities of creating these beautiful images. And that really boosted my confidence. And I was like, wow, like I'm actually really good at this, you know? So it it's a part of me, it's who I am, it's an extension of me. You know, like each and every single piece has my time, has my energy, you know, has my blood, sweat, and tears into it, because that's literally what goes into the process. So it's a very uh, uh very
Expressive.
extensive process that requires a lot of who I am. But aside from that, it allows me to communicate with people. It allows me to make a difference, you know, and actually make a change. So right now, what I'm planning on doing with my art is I started a nonprofit organization called Return
Mm.
of the Artist. And basically, it's a summer arts program where I provide students in South Miami with free art supplies and an education. You know, so I tutor them, I mentor them, I show them how to draw better, how to be better artists, while also providing with them free materials. So thanks to Hamilton College for giving me the grants that I needed in order to start
Wow.
the program. Yeah, so I'm on my second grant right now. So this
Wonderful.
winter, like in the middle of December, I'll be studying Rhoda again, and then hopefully, eventually, I'll start getting actual donors and stuff who would like to contribute and donate, so we can keep it going every summer, and you know, not just it after the funding is over. So yeah, those are my artistic endeavors at the moment. Um, I do have a future project in the works, but I don't want to talk too much about it because you
Okay.
know, it's a
No.
surprise.
We're gonna put the beep. I'm playing. That's fine. When you drop it, just drop it hard. drop it with everyone you can, and we're here to help you out. So, guys, if you guys are listening and love art, make sure you go check her out, support her in those endeavors, just helping more people out find themselves. Love it. What about? Do you want to add something else, or should we jump on to the next thing?
You can go ahead,
Let's go
jump
with
on something.
meditation. How did you get
Yes.
into all that? When I met you, I saw you reading this. It was like a Zen book, and I was like, "What is that?" I never paid attention to that, so it caught my attention. If you want to talk about that, how it's helped you, etc.
So the book that you're talking about is this one. I still have it. It's
Yeah,
actually called Fundamentals of Tibetan Buddhism by Rebecca
yeah.
McClen Novick. So if you guys want to read this, please make sure you go check it out. It's absolutely amazing. So yeah, so it's a little dusty. It came back and forth to Africa, so understandable. But I got into Buddhism or meditation really because I was kind of like a rebellious Catholic. I went through the whole, process of communion, baptism, like all of that,
Mm-hmm.
and I had born and raised Catholic. But there was something about the religion that didn't sit right with me. And I don't speak for the religion; I just speak on my experience with it. Um, in my family, I grew up with lesbians, gays, transgenders, non-binary, all kinds of individuals, and their stories did not fit into the church. And
Right.
to me, that makes sense. Like I grew up, with my brothers and sisters, and to me, that's how life is. But then to have somebody tell me that this is not what it's supposed to be, it didn't sit right. And then eventually I struggled a lot with like overthinking and depressive thoughts. Um, but then I stumbled upon the Buddha and his story. And I watched a documentary on YouTube. I think it's called, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's by BBC, and it's about the Buddha and his life. And I was so inspired that this person who was a prince, who had everything laid out for him, who was trapped in this, palace for his whole life, just decided to give all of that up because he saw suffering. And that is what inspired me. And I think the principles of it, um, even if you don't believe in God or whatever, you still have this human vessel. And Buddhism and its practices and its teachings offer you an opportunity to become more united with your physical body, and have it not be a prison and more of like a place where you actually enjoy
Mm-hmm.
existing within. So it allowed me to be present, definitely be more reflective, not think so much. And that's something that I've learned throughout my journey, is that we have these different aspects of us. We have the id, the ego, subconscious, the conscious mind. And the idea that we have choice over what goes on in here. We can't control what happens out here, and we can't control our position in that situation sometimes, but we can control how we look at that situation and how we react. So that's something that Buddhism teaches you and allows you to realize. Um, and it gives you the power. I feel like a lot of times we feel powerless in life. We feel like we're just going through the flow, just going with the motion. But it reminds us that no matter how bad a situation, no matter how good a situation, at the end of the day, it's your perception that determines that reality for you. So some very powerful stuff that Buddhism talks about. And any Buddhist, or follower knows that this is real stuff.
It is. I love it, and I love learning about this stuff. There's so much to learn, and it just sounds a lot like self-help. A lot of the things that I've been listening to, and it works like the law of attraction. If you don't believe in it, perfect, that's fine. But be open, be open-minded to things like this one. So thank you for sharing that. We have a few minutes left. I like keeping it short. Uh, I just want to say thank you. But before you go, I want you to say, to share with us what are some of the next projects. I know you said not to, you don't want to share yet, but some things coming up. And then we can talk, where can people find you but after you share what are the next projects.
So I'll give you guys a little sneak peek. Little sneak peek. Um, but
Exclusive, only here.
only here. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'm currently working on Return of the Artist still. I am working on trying to get my art more recognized and get it the attention that it deserves. Because
Mhm.
I don't want to be, cocky or anything, or like
No.
self-centered or anything, but I spent a lot of time and effort mastering my craft. And when I look at other people, and other artists in the community nowadays, I'm just like, I'm really tired of seeing some of the same things. So I'd really like to see myself out there, to spice things up a bit. But Return of the Artist is coming. Something that I'm doing differently this time around than I did the last time is that I am planning on having artistic mentors for the students.
Mm,
So last summer, it was just me teaching the kids, but I plan on this time around inviting local artists from Miami to guest star like every um, class time or class session, and to give the students a little bit of an idea of what it's like to actually be an artist in Miami, and just make a living off of art. Because I feel like a lot of times people are like, you can't be a
yeah.
full-time artist. That's not a real, you know, for kids in these low income minority communities, we don't think it's possible. Like, people don't provide us with the resources to know that we can actually make money off of this stuff and be successful doing it. So I plan on bringing in some mentors. Um, and then aside from that, the big project that I'm working on, I'll give you guys the name because I already started the Instagram page for it.
Okay.
So it's going to be called the House of Good Juju. And basically, it is going to be my art studio and design location. It's going to be, I
Okay.
want it, this is for more like the big dream of how I see this going down. And
Mm-hmm.
right now it's just starting here in my little studio,
Okay.
um, my backyard in my house. But eventually, I would love for the House of Good Juju to be a venue where I give free art lessons to students in high school, while allowing adults to come into the venue and pay for like painting sessions with family members, what like wine and paints. People
Yeah.
love those kind of things, and really be a venue for the community to build an artistic nature within, foster that artistry within the community, because there's not a lot of connection, and I feel like nowadays we're all connected virtually, but it's not the same. Like, people don't interact with their neighbors, people doesn't know who lives at the end of the road, and back then that's really what made communities beautiful. They said it takes a, I'm not sure what the saying is, but I think it takes a village to raise a child,
Yeah, you got
so
it.
I really love to continue to foster that village and provide the community with a healthy and a safe place to do that, so
That's a
those are some of
place
the
for
projects
great
I have.
dates. Love it.
So
Thank you.
excited.
Thank you. Before, guys, what you see here, this is the costume, the clothing, the attire that we got in Ghana, Africa. So big shout out again.
Handmade by the women, absolutely amazing. They're
Supporting local businesses. Just
yeah.
wonderful. So Juju, where can people find you? I'm sorry.
Oh wow. Okay. So I have a lot of online presence. So
Okay,
you guys can find me on Instagram at Juasline, which is Juasline.
we'll have it on it.
And you guys can please visit my website as well, which is www.joyceandplacencia.com. So my website is really where you can find everything, like my artwork, what I'm doing with Return of the Artist, and any future and upcoming projects. I also have a mini like autobiography and a very, very extensive resume that I have that's taken me months to finish building. But then other than that, yeah. So as soon as you guys find Juaslyn on Instagram, I have links to all of my other pages there. So that's all you guys really need to find me. And also on YouTube. On YouTube, I'm also on
Our
YouTube.
YouTube
Like,
channel. We're gonna share it. We're gonna blast it. We're gonna give you more. So thank you, appreciate it.
thank
Any last words? Any last thoughts?
I just want to say thank you, because I don't think people understand how vital these interactions are, like what me and Adolfo are doing right now. This is what makes a community, you know. And I think we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. um, but other than that, I'm very thankful for this. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you,
I had a
Juasline.
great time.
Thank you, guys.
Mhm.
If you're still up to this point in the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow Juasline in all her platforms. Thank you again. You have a great day. God bless you.
Thank you.